Last month, I visited a body farm in Texas. So these are places where researchers take recently deceased human bodies and they essentially just leave them out to decompose. So this research, mainly it's helpful when law enforcement come across a body under mysterious circumstances, maybe a murder, and they want to know how long has it been out here. What happens right after you die is all the fluids that are inside your cells when you're alive leak out, and bacteria start feeding immediately. They're converting the liquids and solids inside you into gases that they emit. And this causes the second stage, which is bloat. You also have something called marbling during the stage because one of the gases, sulfur, it binds to the hemoglobin molecules in your blood and changes the color of them to an orange or yellow. And at the same time, flies come. They come almost immediately when the body's placed, and they lay eggs. And they especially lay them in any orifices, so your head will get a lot of maggots on it, the eye sockets and mouth and nose. And then after a few days of that, the body moves to the third stage, which is called purge, and that's ultimately the bloating is relieved as a lot of the gas and fluids leak out, and you see this dark fluid pooling around the body. And the interesting thing is that fluid, it's really nutrient rich, but it's so rich in nitrogen that it kills off the plants initially, but a year later, it'll become especially fertile. So here, this is the next stage. A lot of the changes happen really rapidly at first, and then it slows down a lot. There's certainly still bacteria here, but if you were to graph all the nutrients, it's a very sharp decline. If the body's in the sun, especially in Texas, the heat is so strong that a lot of bacteria and insects can't actually survive. And so instead of continuing to decompose the body, it'll really gradually mummify. It'll just dry up. But if the body's in the shade, then the bacteria and insects can continue to feed on it, and they'll essentially eat it down to a skeleton. With the vultures, the process is completely different because a flock of them will just swarm a body immediately if it's left uncaged. And they can eat pretty much all the flesh off within a few hours. One thing that really fascinated me is the way the bones are frayed, and that's from their beaks, ripping at it voraciously. And that looks like leather or clothing, but it's skin. Typically they're left out to decompose for 6 to 12 months.
ايه اللي يحصل للجسد نفسه بقى؟ تعالى انت جيت لحته مهمه.
نعم.
الجسد احنا سبناه ومشينا.
طيب.
بعد 4 أيام
يتحلل.
لا. تسيل الحدقتان الاول. العين المائيه تسيل.
نعم.
خلاص. بعد 11 يوما تظهر بقع بنيه
على الجسم
وداكنه على الجسم. بعد 2 أسبوع يبدأ انتفاخ الجسم. بعد 2 أسبوع تظهر ديدان لا يعلم عددها إلا الله من أين تظهر هذه الديدان. تبدأ في أكل اللحم.
نعم.
فلا يبقى منه إلا العظم.
الذنب.
عجب الذنب. عجب الذنب. آخر العصعص. خلاص.
نعم.
بعد ما تنتهي الديدان من أكل الجسد
تأكل بعضها بعض.
يأكل بعضها وتختفي.
زي بالظبط ايه؟ يقول لك العذاب لمين والنعيم لمين؟ في الاخره للنفس الواعيه عشان تحس. ما هو جسد من غير روح هيحس؟
لا.
طب وروح من غير جسد لا معنى لها، يعني روح من غير جسد لا معنى لها.
نقدر نقول مش هتحس برضه؟
ما مش موجوده، مفيش الاحساس في الجسد.
طب وعالم البرزخ؟
ومعاه الروح، ما هو يجمع النفس الواعيه. ان كنت عايز تقول لي نعيم وعذاب لازم تبقى للنفس الواعيه.